Next up on the show, very happy to welcome back a frequent guest. You know her from the work she's done on these airwaves, the work she's done in this business on the PR side over the years, and from the work she does behind the microphone at parks, where one of the horses she had the pleasure, I'm going to say, of calling a few times is now has a chance to get into this year's Kentucky Derby on the AE list as of this writing. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Uncle Heavy in the gates. Welcome back, Jessica Paquette. Jessica, what is that like, having a horse that you called quite possibly running in America's most famous race?
It's so exciting in ways that I never really expected. So, one of the things at parks is I get to call a lot of really nice horses, but they are often horses who maybe their stakes days are behind them or on a big day like Pennsylvania Derby Day, which is a lot of fun and incredible. But I mean, I love these hard knocking war horse types, but very rarely do I get to call a really nice horse at the start of their career and then get to watch them go and do. And that's been really fun. Horses like Uncle Heavy and Aoife's Magic, who I also think still has a graded stakes win in her, I Will Die on That Hill. But Uncle Heavy was a cool horse because he always sort of showed what he could be. This first time I saw him, there was, I believe I said on air, there's no way this horse is a sprinter. How is he sprinting? There's no way. He is built like a horse that wants to go a distance of ground. He has certainly shown that as he's grown into himself and the races have gotten longer, he's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, his Withers was a very, very nice run in the mud, going the 9 furlongs at Aqueduct. And this is a horse that I feel like, even when it hasn't gone his way in races, has excuses, whether it was difficult trips or wrong part of the track. At what point, or was there a point early in his career where you thought this would be a horse that might have the upside of being a Kentucky Derby starter?
I'll be perfectly honest. No, I wasn't thinking that. I wasn't thinking that big and that broad. But his last win here at Parks against State Bred Company, that was a really good race from him. And that was when he started to hint that he might actually be the real deal.
Obviously, things did not go his way in the Wood Memorial with that fifth place finish. But I mean, is this a horse who, based on the best bits of form, you could see having an impact in a race like this? You can be honest.
I think he really could. For me, if this horse gets into the Kentucky Derby, he's on every single ticket I use. Maybe he's not good enough to win. He is absolutely 1000% good enough to get into the exotics. And the way he just shows up every time, that fifth place in the Wood Memorial, that really, all things considered, wasn't that bad. That was the kind of race. I mean, it was a very scary race with deposition falling in mid stretch. And I think Michael Sanchez got a little shaken up by that. And I don't blame him. That was horrifying. I can't imagine, as someone who rides horses, kind of being in the thick of things when something like that happens and then having to react and then go on with the race accordingly. Well, you're looking back to someone you know. I mean, he rides with Dexter Haddock in the room and in not knowing what had happened. I think fifth place in the Wood, fine. I hope he gets into the Kentucky Derby off of that.
That's a good point about him really not being persisted with in this spot. You go back to the gameness he showed in the lane in the Withers, again, going that longer distance. I would assume this is one you're expecting they would use hold up tactics this time. Maybe he gets a run through, can use some of that physicality you were describing to come and get a little piece. So would you be limiting his use to underneath, or do you think you'd even have a penny with this horse on top? You, it seemed to be implying.
I'm bold. I'll put him on top too. I mean, I'm bold and I'm sentimental. So let's put those two things together. Yes, I will absolutely use him on top if he gets into the Kentucky 1000%. But I do think he's a big physical sort of colt. And he did, I think, miss a little bit of training going into the Wood. He had to quarantine on the farm when it was a herpes scare. There was some quarantine issue. So he didn't really have anything go his way heading towards the Wood or then in the Wood. So I think now kind of all systems are go. And don't discount a smaller outfit. Like Butch Reed's the big fish in our pond here, but I know nationally, kind of a small fish in the big pond. He can train a top quality racehorse for sure.
That was going to be my next question for you, were about these connections who people might not know so much about nationally. What do you want the world to know about Butch Reed and Michael Sanchez?
So I walk through Butch Reed's barn and I feel like I'm in any grade one kind of barn anywhere in the country. He runs a terrific operation. His horses always look great. He is ambitious where he runs them for sure. He's not afraid of taking a swing in a big race, and it's paid off on more than one occasion. I think there's more than a handful of people in this country that can train a racehorse. And often some of those great trainers are right in your backyard at some of these smaller tracks and just need the right horse to show it.
These mini pods are brought to you by Free Rein Coffee Company. They've been powering the In the Money team throughout the Triple Crown prep season, and the coffee is fantastic. Whether you're looking for whole beans, grounds, or pods, Free Rein give you what you need to get up and get after it. And they've got subscriptions available too, so you never run out. Use our promo code MONEY20 for a 20% discount site-wide over at freeraincoffee.com. $4 million. That's how much original ITM Plus subscribers and contributors have won at the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge over the last 5 years. ITM Plus is the place for our best Kentucky Derby information, including grid picks from the team, trip notes, and specific betting advice. Sign up today at inthemoneypodcast.com/plus. What about Sanchez? Do you think he's up for a test like this?
I think for a younger rider riding in the Kentucky Derby for the first time, that's a big ask. There, it's a big emotional moment for them. He is as good of a rider as anyone. I think, from a technical standpoint, I think he'll have to certainly bring all the focus that he has.
And we'll see. I guess it's not official. Obviously, he's not officially in the race if they keep him in this spot. So we'll see what happens in terms of who ends up in the irons. But Sanchez has ridden him in each of the starts, and obviously has that relationship from back at home where you come to us from at Parks. We'll see what ends up happening there. Let me get a sentence from you or two about the race as a whole. I mean, is this one that the market has right, do you think, with its fierceness in Sierra Leone and everybody else? Or is it, and I'm guessing you might say yes to this question, is a little bit more open than that?
I think there's the chance that it's a little bit more open. Fierceness, I'm a little suspect of. To me, he's a horse that needs everything his own way. And first Saturday in May, you really, with 19 of your friends in the field, it's unlikely you're going to get everything your own way. A lot can happen in the Kentucky Derby. That's why it is the most special race of the year. And Sierra Leone certainly looks like the real deal, for sure. Maybe he wins for fun, but I think this might be an interesting race. You could get some hidden value on some other horses.
Jessica, thank you so much for your time today. We'll continue to enjoy your work, and we'll have you back for another longer appearance very soon.
Good luck, everyone. Thanks for having me.